this course has been very meaningful and important for me, and it has had a very positive impact in my teaching practice so far. So I would like to share with you some of the most meaningful and significant ideas I have learned so far. So talking about effective teaching practices, I selected engaging. I selected this because I think that when students are engaged, they feel connection, and connection is another important part for learning. I also selected rapport because I think when you have in the classroom, you have a very learning environment. So another concept that has been very challenging and also very meaningful is mindfulness. I think mindfulness helps us to have better results in the classroom by having our mind clear and our mind concentrated or focused in the moment, right? Not only our body but our minds. About interconnectedness, I think that this was a very good topic for me, because I think it is true that everything has an effect in another thing, and that thing in another, even though we don't realize it, or sometimes we don't want to see it. But like in the book says, if we open our eyes to how all the things interact and how those interactions change other things, I think, and the author says that, we begin to see the world differently. And we need to start seeing this. We need to start seeing the world differently, because the world is changing and we need to change as well. Talking about also living systems theory, we also review systems integrity. And with this, I started to realize the different parts of my classroom in my school. And this was important because it was like processing in my mind how important or how they affect my teaching, and how I am part of a big environment. Gratitude, it is such a relevant and, I would say, significant topic, because when we practice this thing, we are aware of how blessed and how good opportunities come to our lives. So I made a plan for my life, and I am trying to work on it, which is very important. I'm trying to become grateful person by being aware of all the blessings that I have around and all the blessings that come to my life. But not only this, but also I'm trying to share this idea with my students. Sometimes in the class we share something we feel thankful for and grateful for, and I think it's a very good practice, because we start to being happier. Talking about the ECRIF plan and the PDP plan, it was a very interesting week, and it was a very challenging week, because we needed to reflect on how we did that plan and how the class went. It is also very challenging for me because I don't know, or well, I know, but I'm not a big expert in ICRIF as the other TESOL participants, but I just have a look at my notes in the assessment course, and that's how I refresh all these concepts of this framework, that is very interesting and very challenging for me, and it has a lot of positive things. So it was very interesting, even though I did the plan with pedagogy class, not with a language class, but the PDP was with a language class. So, and I learned a lot from the comments of the other participants. I would say the mechanistic thinking was very challenging. The text was very, very interesting, but challenging at some point, and at some other point difficult, because I'm not used to that scientific terms and that scientific field. But it was very interesting, and I think this topic helped me to realize how the world is changing and how paradigms are changing, and how these ideas are getting far away from how the things were made in the past. And not because they were wrong, but I think because we have different needs right now, and it is very good that we're starting to have a look at the things with a different point of view, because the world is not the same. So we need to reflect on how the changes affect our classroom and how to incorporate those changes in our classes, and how that has an impact in our teaching practice. Empathy is another topic that I am starting to practice, and I think the resources were very useful, and that short video was very interesting, because I learned that empathy is not to let people know that one understands how they feel, but to worry about them and have this good attitude and this positive attitude to be willing to help them in their process. Brené Brown is a very good psychologist, and I have been watching her videos a lot, and they have been really useful for me. So empathy is another challenge and another thing that I'm practicing. I think this course is showing us a lot of things that we need to do, important concepts. They are challenging, but they can be applied in our classes and with our students. In week 4 we checked biodiversity, and it is very interesting for me, because I started to ask questions to myself, and in this case, how having more people and different people around us makes the environment healthier. So I think that was the most important idea I learned from this topic. Sometimes we just need some kind of students and we prefer them, but we don't realize how the others give richness to the class and to the classroom. in the academic area age, sorry, it was very interesting to reflect on how the ideal 21st century classroom would look, or the learning experience would look like. For me, it is definitely a flipped classroom full of resources to get information from around the world. I think right now we know that information is power, and we need to teach our students how to look for that information and how to select information. Teachers collaborate with other peers around the world to make projects. Students are connected with other students, but not only from the school, but from other parts of the world. The school is involved in projects to improve their own school, but the community too. Instead of working in subjects, I think students would work on useful and meaningful projects for their lives. Finally, connection and belonging in the pro-social learning topics were very significant, because I think that when students feel that they belong to something, they compromise and they are willing to try in things, and they feel in a safe environment. So when they have a connection and they feel that belong, I think we can get more things from them than if they feel disconnected. Also, this last week I learned that cooperation is a basic part for a learning environment, and that we need to work together, and we need